Previously on Love and Marriage Detroit. As well.
Like a bar, like a club.
But I understand why now, though. Back in the day, he was a wild boy. We talked about it in the club the other day.
Like, bro, shut up.
In the club.
Oh, I didn't.
Hey guys, and welcome to Love and Marriage Detroit. Listen, we're going to be breaking down this latest episode 2. It was a bit manic, a bit crazy, a bit of a mad one still, and so we thought we'd break it all the way down. Anthony's out here moving the maddest, out here dry snitching on his boy. We've got Brandon still lying about the fact that he was in the studio with his artist, and there's something more. We got also the other brother moving mad as well. What's his name? Mr. Pastor and Jim at the same time. He's moving mad out here. You go for Mike. You wasn't say Sean into his name.
What is it? Russell?
Yeah, Russell, that's it. Russell out here moving mad, saying he's going to be he's taking himself into seminary school, and he's going to be a pastor, and he's going to be buying a gym, all without consulting her. And then for Colby to open her mouth in the first episode talking about, how you're not going to tell your wife stuff. Your husband's doing the exact same thing. See, you should just keep your mouth shut and stay in your lane. Now you ain't be looking embarrassed, and now you got a situation on your hands, right? This is why we stay in our lane. Okay, so we're going to discuss Love and Marriage Detroit, episode 2. I'll try and provide a few clips just to make it a bit more easier for us as well. But listen, it's crazy up in her. It's crazy up in here. But you get me? So let's get to this, man. Let's get to this. Let's get on this as well. All right. It's just a wild thing right now. All right, let's start from the very beginning. Because it was a crazy thing. Crazy things are happening. Crazy things are happening. All right, so let's go to Brandon and Christina at the very beginning. They had their little situation. We'll have a little bit of this.
But I do feel like it's my responsibility to turn it around.
Al Bettis, what you got for us? Come here, beautiful.
Now, obviously, this is the aftermath of the conversation with obviously Brandon and the rest of the group, and Brandon tries to make it up to Christina with some beautiful sounding love and music, and they have a conversation about their situation, and he does talk about how he is sorry for what he did. But, I think this is what we got to see a little bit more vulnerability from Christina. I'm not going to lie to you, because the first episode, I was like, she's acting like she got no vulnerability at all. She just wants to break, man. But then we see that this young lady has been, has broken a little bit, softened, and, she's hurt by the problems that have been faced by her man. I'm not going to lie to you. It was sad to see her in this kind of state. I can't lie to you. It was sad to see her in this state. I'll play a little bit more of the clip. And give you a bit more insight as well what happened here.
Way about what's going on with you.
I mean, do you understand why I do that? Because you shoot down like 90% of the stuff that I bring to you. Just like if I go to a networking event or I want to go to the club to network, right? Just like, yeah, you always got something to.
All right, cool. So we're back at the same argument from last time. So, Sean, what's your thoughts? So we're back at the same argument where they're talking about, she's saying that, like she's hurt. You can see that she's visibly hurt. He's talking about the fact that, I want to bring these things to you, but you know what? I know how you're going to react. You're going to blow up. You're going to get in a strop. You're going to get in a hizzy. I can't bring up to you, then I have to go behind your back. She's saying that, you're not telling me things. You're not, bringing me in, and you're not being open and honest with me, and it's a problem. So what's your thoughts on this conversation at this point in time, and what they were talking about in this situation?
I feel like two things can be true at the same time, right? He's definitely not being upfront. He is being deceiving and not telling her things. And I think she does overreact. Now, does she have a reason? You know, perhaps, you know, that she, well, obviously, no, perhaps she actually has a reason, right? Because something has transpired, right? So I think they have some unresolved issues and they're both not handling it effectively. Now, I think it's up to Brandon because he's the one that did the misdeed, right? To own it and fix it. And I think in this moment, basically how things transpired, this isn't the time to come at her, right? I think like his approach in this moment, especially in a group setting like this, should be to diffuse, should be to de-escalate, should be to just take, you know, to kind of fall on the sword. The way things came out is just looks bad for him, right? You're telling your friends before you tell your wife, then it comes out at your anniversary dinner. She's hurt. This isn't the time to tell her everything that she's doing wrong from your perspective. I feel like you got to fall on the sword a little bit and say, babe, I'm sorry. This is not how it should have been. Let's talk about this. But ultimately, you know, I apologize for the way things came up and how things came out. We're going to talk about this, and I want us to enjoy our anniversary. Again, I apologize. I think those should just be the words that are consistently said by him in this moment, and then they may be able to revisit some of the other things later.
Good points. I'll play a little bit more of the clip.
Let's say about it.
You didn't give me a chance to say yes to it. You just did it.
I
You
was going to
already
give you an
did it.
opportunity before Kobe's big mouth and
You signed
blew it all up.
Brandon messed up. He should have told you not to say nothing, dog.
He should have told his wife. He wrong.
I'm gonna say this.
Don't be that person. Don't be that person.
I'm gonna say
He
this.
should have told his
Don't be that person.
What's your thoughts, Sean?
Kobe's fine. I know that much.
That's right.
It's hard. It's hard for me to be mad at her, but she needs to mind her own business because, as we will surely find out later, you know, pipe down, sis.
Your turn is coming.
Pipe it on down, sister.
Take it down a notch.
Take it down a couple of notches.
Your time is coming. Yippity yip yip. Yeah. It's funny because even in that part where she was even talking to when Christina was talking to him, she even put her hand on his shoulder and was trying to get him to understand, and he was still busily trying to deflect, saying about how I was gonna tell you, Negro, but you should have told her earlier on. Like, I'm not saying you weren't gonna tell her, but I'm saying it took you a long time to get to where you were to go and tell her. So that, of course, we still blame the fact that Kobe decided to open his mouth and say something, but the reality of the situation for you had already signed the paperwork. So what you're doing right now is kind of gaslighting her slightly by saying, oh, you know, I was going to tell you. No, but you weren't going to tell her because you already signed the contract. Then you're going to go and tell her, which means there's no discussion after that because it's already been signed. So you're being disingenuous. And these are the kind of things that start to sow discord in your relationship. It sounds like I can do whatever I want to do. And this is what us, and, you know, I want us men to be aware of as well, that as much as we can, as much as you are the leader of your home, you don't want to start this game of I can do whatever I want to do, right? You don't want to do that, right? We talk about relationships working and working together in tandem and partnership. You do not want to go down the lane of saying I can do whatever I want to do just because I'm a man. You don't want to be in that space, because if she starts hitting back, nobody wins. The team don't win. So yeah, definitely was that. And then Anthony too was out here piping up against what Kobe dry snitching about the fact the situation. He needs to pipe down, take it down a notch, or one or two as well, because later on you out here dry snitching on Brandon. You know what I mean? So listen, none of their hands are clean, baby. None of their hands are clean. Yeah, everybody just need to zip it. You know what I'm saying? And I noticed that too. When she put her hand right on his chest, like right here, that would have did it for me. That would have just calmed me all the way down. Oh.
And it was like so gentle. I mean, she was still
Yep.
bumping her gums, but the body language for me, like if somebody was to do that to me, you know, that just it takes some of the
Sting.
energy out of it. It's like, you know, we're here, we're in this together, because that's what happens in arguments. You know, as couples, and I've been guilty of this. It's like you forget that it's the same. We're on the same team, right? And it just becomes I want to win and I want to prove my point, and I don't want to be wrong. So I think what she was doing in that moment was just, you know, I'm still here. I still love you, but I don't like what you did. And that for me would just take all the steam out to be like, babe, I messed up, you know? And I think he was doing too much, putting too much gas on Colby, although she shouldn't have been talking. And then you got to read the room. Like, I get annoyed about that when people who they double down. It's like people are trying to tell you to slow down. You may think you're right. Yes, he should have told her, but this is not your fight to fight. And you shouldn't be the messenger, because the messenger gets shot, right? That saying is a saying for a reason. So I just wish she would have, after she said what she said, yeah, unintentionally, oh, I thought she knew, take your foot off the gas. Just be like, oh, my bad, I didn't know. Moving on. Next, right? But she's keep going. And then Anthony wants to try to check. Why? First of all, why are you always trying to check somebody else's wife? Why are you always like, you can't be the person that tells everybody what to do. If you're that person, stop. Like, you can't be the sage advice giver to everybody. Sometimes just zip your lip and stay in your household. And that's my issue with Anthony. He's always, blah, 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 blah. I want to tell you what to do, and I want to tell you what to do, and I want to tell you what to do.
I hear that, bro. That's a real thing, because it's looking a bit suspect now that you're getting onto these women all the time. Do you know what I mean? Like, you say you want to hear this man training, but everything just becomes about the women. That's why they're going to start saying those lines about you. This guy is, you know, the manosphere kind of energy and stuff like that, because all your energy is being directed towards these women. Now, I'm not saying that he hasn't addressed Russell, he has, but I'm just saying it's going to look like that when you're getting onto Colby. You got onto Christina, you even got onto the friend later on in the show. Like, look, it's not a good look to be fighting with women all the time, especially when they're not your wife. You know what I mean? You never come out shining and looking good. You understand? Yeah, a man ain't gonna divorce a wife for you. So relax, pipe down. You know what I mean? Like, it's too much from Anthony at this point in time. Like, I can't lie to you. Like, sometimes I'm looking at it and I'm like, bro, you're doing too much. Like, pepper your step, bro. Like, pepper your step, because you're doing a bit too much for me at this point in time. So yeah, I definitely hear you on the Anthony part as well. Definitely hear you on that. Let's get the next scene in, because Chile, people are about to move madder than a hatter here. Madder than a hatter. Okay.
The new artist.
I did, but you made it seem like I'm out here just pillow talking, telling all my homies business.
I thought that she knew about the artist. That's the only reason why I asked.
I mean, obviously, we didn't expect it to turn out the way it did. But in the future, babe, let's just stay out of people's business. Because, you know, my motto, we don't got time for nobody else's stuff but ours.
And she's about to have a hell of a lot more time, because, boy, you better be out of the home for a lot longer. So, how true he says. Go for it, Sean.
Yeah, he ain't about nothing. Russell is a mess, you know? And because he's about to be like, I'm about to lay on some things for you right now. He was like, we about to have a whole lot of business, so just hold on tight. Stay over here. It's like, I told you to keep your leg. You got your whole leg in their marriage. You need to keep your legs, your arms, your elbows, your head, and this way, because
and you carry what I've got to give you. Yeah.
Brace yourself, sister.
You're going to need to be sturdy for this one.
I'm about to be a deacon, pastor, preacher, gym owner.
Oh, man.
He's doing everything.
He did everything, bro. Shoot. I'm going to play God in the movie, too, but I can. Like, bro, relax. Like, relax. Yeah. No, but no, he was making some point, obviously, about her staying out the people's folks' business. But then it leads obviously to another conversation, which obviously then becomes about what he's planning to do. Let me see if I can get that correctly. Hopefully I got the right clip and y'all can see it.
Now she's starting to be a little bit defensive. She is obviously clueless about the whole situation, which is part of the reason why we stay out of other people's business.
So in the future, I'm asking, do I not ask people about what they do in their jobs? Just don't ask no questions, don't ask about nothing.
Okay, I see what you're doing.
I'm asking, please help me understand.
No, I see what you're
Give
doing.
me feedback.
Keep going.
My bad, that's the wrong clip. I don't even remember this part of the thing, you know. They were still arguing about the fact that she was in someone else's business and she was still trying to defend her point. Do you know what I realized? Both of them are manipulative. Because she actually did it there. I didn't even realize she was doing it, pretending as if she don't understand what he meant by staying out people's folks' business. And then he later on does the exact same thing, pretending as if he doesn't know why she's upset about the fact that he's telling her about becoming a pastor and a gym owner. Like, I realized that both of them are actually kind of manipulative in their own particular ways. So, you know, they deserve each other and they want each other. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, now I don't remember seeing that part. I don't know why I forgot about seeing that part. You know. But yeah, no, they're both just very, very similar in that particular aspect. I'm trying to get the clip where they actually tells her about his own business that he got to go through. Let me see if I can
Do something when something's already been done. Communicate.
Okay, fantastic. Hold on.
So, like,
there we go. So
My heart. And in order to do that, I started school 2 weeks ago to be the Army chaplain. I know how, when we first started dating, how hard your life was being a pastor's kid. So I talked to your dad about it. He's actually going to serve as my mentor during this process.
Man spoke to her dad and chose to be Army chaplain and still didn't consult her. This is why your whole leg should have been on your side, because now you got a whole lot of stuff to deal with. What's your thoughts, Sean?
Yeah, he said the Lord told him, huh? Okay, all right, Russell. Where the fruits of the spirit? Because Kobe ain't with it.
Kobe said, "That's not what I heard.
That's not what I see. God didn't tell me. I'm the helpmate. God didn't tell me.
He bypassed me, went straight to you. Now, how is that?"
I ain't the first lady. She said,
and if God told you, he should have told you, I ain't doing it.
Get somebody else to do it. I don't know, Russ. I'm talking to Russ like I know him. I don't know, Russ. You might want to get back in your prayer closet and talk to God a little bit longer. Sometimes we think, you know what I mean? We got to just make sure the vision that we think we're hearing is fully fulfilled. You know, let's start slow. So yeah, I don't know. And Kobe definitely being a PK, she's not interested in that life. So you don't have the support of your wife and you want to go into ministry.
No.
That's a tough battle. And not to mention, old boy wants to open up a gym too.
Where you gonna find the time to read the scriptures, boy?
Gym owner, trainer, pastor.
Boy, I train in the spirit and I train in the flesh. You know what I mean?
Jesus Lord, good luck.
No, Bible says, "Work out your salvation with fear and trembling." I'm gonna show you how to work it out. Show you how to work it out. But yeah, no, I mean, listen, the fact that he enrolled in divinity school, he got obviously into it, had a dad as a mentor without even consulting her, shows there's a lack of respect for your partner too at the same time by doing that as well. Taking that decision on, it's like similar to Brandon, it's disrespectful, right? And you know, you doing that is you not really respecting the fact that your partner has a say in the decision making. Like, you know how she feels. You know how she feels about this, because obviously, like I said, she comes from a PK home, probably some trauma there. Don't want to do that kind of stuff, and then you just take a decision without asking her. No, I need you to deep it. What part of the Lord is in this where you are now going to bypass her and not ask her? Since she is the helpmate, how come you ain't helping mate by actually telling her, like, hey, look, I'm thinking of going into this because the Lord, I feel like the Lord is calling me. That's different from just going and doing it. Again, this is another thing of setting this, putting seeds into the ground of discord and separation between you and your partner. You know what I'm saying? You need to like take them into consideration. You know. Any more thoughts on that, Marshall? Go for it.
Yeah, I think it's it's premeditated, because everybody that does this, whether it's Brandon and now Russell, they know what their wife is gonna say. So that's why they don't do it. So it's almost worse. It's like, oh, I just didn't get around to it, or oh, I forgot, I slipped. You knew that you needed to tell and talk to her about it, but you didn't, because you didn't want it's like a kid, right? It's like that old expression, you rather, what is it? Beg for forgiveness than ask for permission. So I think that's the space that these guys are operating in, and that's not a way to run a healthy marriage, right? If you want to be a leader, you got to walk into that, and you got to have the discussion, and then be prepared to hear some of the pushback that might come your way, but don't intentionally bypass her. And then when you bypass her and then she gets upset about it, you want to brush it off. No, you didn't tell her because you were scared of the reaction. There you go. So you just manipulated your way and lied through the whole situation because you knew you needed to tell her.
And that's it. Now she got to deal with it. Now she got to do it. Now she knows. See, it's not easy.
You don't got to spend time worrying about who ain't telling what to who. And that's why I think she really got pissed, because she was like, I just spent all of this time lecturing over here. That's why when we say on the channel, just because you can say it don't mean you should. That's the same situation, because you might just be facing that same thing. So you don't always need to tell something you think you know, right? Just because you know it don't mean you should tell it. Just because you have the information, if it could affect somebody else, we always need to be slow to speak, right? We need to bridle our tongues. The Bible has some very clear lessons in it for very clear reasons. Sometimes people just want to get the bump in their gums, and you start spilling, and now you stepped into something. So sometimes it's good to not say something. Sometimes it's good to just be quiet.
That's why sometimes hush your gums. Okay.
Because I don't think Kobe was being malicious.
Okay, it's off. I was just gonna a good part as well, where he tries to warn her about Kobe. That was Brandon warning his wife. Yeah,
I think he just needs to stay off. He needs to stay off of the whole Kobe conversation.
Yeah, he needs that. It's not looking good, especially when you've been lying and Kobe called you out and she was right.
Burger jacking a lot of the things that you're doing.
What are you talking about?
Didn't you tell Kobe about your sip and shop, and then the next day she's planning a sip and shop? Come on now, and you think that's a coincidence?
That's my girl. You know what I'm saying? Also,
that's your girl.
So I don't want to over.
What do you think?
Brandon being messy. Don't do that now. You might have your thoughts or whatever, but I don't think you should do that. You don't start just because you felt like she came at you. Now you're gonna come at her. You're gonna say she's trying to steal your ideas. And I got to give that's Christina, right? I got to give Christina credit because she handled that well. Because he was being very, very messy. And then you know when you're being messy when your voice goes up. His voice was like, "So what's your girl?" Yes, you're being messy, bro. Cut it out. Stop that. So what's she? Yeah, so what's she being messy? And it's coming out. It's coming out, Brandon. Stop it, bro. Cut it out.
Stop it.
Don't do that. Don't do
that. You grown. Stop that. No, I definitely hear you. Like, especially after the whole situation, you just got to learn how to be wise. Sometimes it's too hot to try and strike again. So sometimes let things cool. Do you know what I mean? Wisdom will tell you that, man. Unfortunately, he decided to just try and drop that issue with Kobe. It's gonna be received badly because the situation with Kobe you just had. So you got to be wise about it. Sometimes, like you said, there's a time in a season to say something, and that wasn't the time to say it. Like, that wasn't the time to say it. You ain't gotta say it. Shouldn't have said it. Should have left it alone. It is what it is. Like, that's what I'm gonna say about Brandon. Like, you're sowing seeds of this again of discord between her friends and you. And do you want what it will look like? It will look like manipulation, because it will look like anybody who's a truth teller, you're trying to remove them from her life. Brother, don't do it. Okay, it won't end well. Okay, it won't end well. So I would suggest that he just stay out the women's businesses, unless she tells you that's what's happening. Stay out of women's business, and you might live a longer life. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you might just live a longer life. All right, cool. Next part, next clip.
Same thing.
You say, Dr. Thompson, I did the same thing, but did I really? Because I moved to Atlanta to pursue this job, and you said it was okay. Now, while I was there, you wasn't feeling it, but technically, I had your blessing.
So they're having an argument, obviously, as well about they were having an argument about the fact that she was talking about the situation with Colby and not Colby, but with Brandon and Christina. And he got onto a conversation about him and his situation going to Atlanta, etc. I'll play more of the clip as well, so you can get a bit more context. But yeah, it was quite an interesting conversation between the two of them. It was, I don't know, it was a bit of a, I don't know if it was production kind of pushed that conversation because it didn't like it was complete. But here's a little bit more, just to.
I can relate to her, so
you need to stop relating to her.
Why?
Like, for real. Like, we good. We didn't went to therapy. We chilling. We straight.
We still working through it.
We better. I know one thing though.
What?
He better not tell Russell nothing no more.
Oh my God.
Okay. Wasn't much in that. I'm trying to. I want to give you a bit more context so you can understand where it's coming from. But I don't know if you remember the scene, Sean. Do you remember the scene?
Yeah. He was trying to, again, kind of almost do what Colby did at the table, is kind of like put them in a better position than Brandon and Christina, saying like, oh, we good, we got our issues under the table now. And he was shutting her down, when she was trying to talk and say like, we still got things, we're still working through it. He was like, we're good, bro. You can't minimize, and if y'all went to therapy, not to go into therapy means something major happened, but it sounds like something happened.
Not to say that anything major happened, but it sounds like something happened.
Like that. It sounded a little bit like that. You know what I mean? It sounded a little bit like something happened. I think there's a little more. There's some, like, what did Christina say the last episode? There's some history. She said. He said there's history. You don't know the history. I don't think we know the history between Anthony and LaToya, because that Atlanta, that sounds a little bit like madness.
It does. It does still. You ain't telling no lies. I'll play a little bit more.
For granted. Well, we wanted to keep that portion of it. Why you
Really?
cut it off? That's where all the nutrients is.
Okay, I cut it and put it in there.
I gotta call the girls and invite everybody. Did you invite the guys or anything?
I invited pretty girls only.
I'm talking about Brandon.
This event is a wine tasting.
Nothing really happens in that scene. I can't lie to you. So I'm gonna move past that scene and not get copyright for nothing. So let's move past that scene. Nothing really happened in that scene, to be honest. But the boys end up in the club. Okay, they end up in the club, and Brandon, Anthony, a new guy is introduced to us as well. I can't remember his name. And they get talking in the club. So let's have a little look.
Place, especially with Anthony there, because I got a feeling that Anthony will say something to somebody about that.
I was this close not to cover, but
Oh man, but you're here now.
I'm here.
Hey,
A lot of my life prior to getting married was in the club.
So they're in the club, and it's interesting that Brandon says that, you know what, I have to be careful and wary of Anthony because of what he might say. And yet Anthony was the one that was also blaming. And at first I thought it was a misspeak when I first watched it, but then I realized obviously Anthony at the end obviously slips up. But obviously he speaks about obviously Anthony and being careful with the fact that he might say something as well. But the guys are all in the club. Brandon shouldn't be there. Brandon's telling lies that he's where he is. I mean, it's all gone to pot all a mess. Like, if you're gonna go out, I thought he should be honest about it. You know what I mean? And it's like, babe, I'm going. It is what it is. Okay, I'm gonna network. I'm going. But instead, he took a passive route where he lies about the situation, and I'm sure he probably told her he was somewhere else. And so now we got a situation where she's vexed, probably angry when she finds out. But these boys are enjoying themselves, and you're the only one who hasn't told your partner where you actually are. It's starting to violate the relationship. What's your thoughts, Sean?
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, they must be doing this for the cameras, because why are you filming a show and not telling your spouse where you are, and you're being filmed? I mean, forget about, we all know honesty, transparency. Let's just scrap that for a second. You're filming a show. Are you that used to being deceptive? So that's just what sends me red flags. Because if you're going to start lying about these little silly, simple things, what else are you not telling the truth about? And I feel like, come on, they're just sitting there with, catching up, chopping it up with the boys. It doesn't even really feel like a club. I mean, they pan to these girls that are dancing, but that can happen at any given restaurant. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't look like truly clubby, So whatever. I don't understand why you can't just be honest. Why can't you just be transparent about where you are? Why do we have to have all the lies? And then you talk all big and bad. I don't ask for permission. Okay, so then why don't you just be honest? Why are you so scared of questions? So that's I just think that is not setting a good precedent. It's not, if that's really how they conduct their marriages, I think that's just setting themselves up to be dishonest. It makes, because the more you get comfortable lying, you're just gonna lie and lie and lie and lie. And that sows so many seeds of discord and unnecessary distrust in your marriage.
You ain't telling no lies. You ain't telling no lies. Let us go further along. And let's go to that call where he talks to his wife.
Sitting here in the club, and this dude just lies to his wife. That was stupid.
Say praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord, say.
Praise the Lord. God is good.
I was just calling to check in.
Okay.
Now, I know this is definitely produced, because there ain't no way she was buying the fact that she hearing music in the background. It's a club and you're hearing music that's definitely not of Jesus. You go and buy what it's about, praise the Lord. I mean, who thought of this scene? No, who thought of this produced scene? Because it's absolutely shambolic. There's no way he's that nuts that he's in a club with music blaring in the background as well. And of course, it's probably not going to be that loud because they're obviously recording. And she doesn't think that, praise the Lord, she wasn't going to think that you're in church or even joking about it or whatever. That is nuts to me. Yeah, definitely overproduced by the producer on that one. I can't lie to you, because there's no way. There's no way. I can't believe that.
Yeah,
wild.
Kirk Franklin and Ty Tribbetta doing, they're doing some samples, but not like that. Not like that.
Don't shake your ass in a circle.
Exactly right. Throw that ass in a circle.
Show that ass in a circle. What'd you hear?
What's that song? This song they were playing at the BETs. I won't even say it on YouTube. It is horrific that they were playing that at the BET Awards.
Oh, what, to throw your ass in a circle?
No, the song where my bleep bleep is pink and my bleep bleep is brown.
Oh, yeah, that's nonsense. I don't know of our generation, honestly. I'm gonna let it red, I'm gonna let it brown. I said, oh, Sexy Red, Lord of mercy, have mercy. We're in a dangerous place when you start being in some music like that, boy. But anyway, fast forward again.
Because what now? He told me that this is what the Lord told him to do. So I don't step on
We
his
gotta
toes.
respect that. Yeah.
But one thing I know that God did not tell you to do is to keep it from your wife.
My father was a pastor. My dad used to leave the house at 3 a.m. Yeah.
So they are definitely having a moment here where they can agree that both of them, coming from Christian backgrounds or religious folks background in a sense. And obviously they start talking about the fact that she wasn't, wasn't told about the pastor Jim once more again. So they are having a discussion about that, and I guess they're kind of bonding over that as well. What's your thoughts, Sean?
Yeah, these two are down bad together. They down bad together, and now she wants to buy her a pocketbook as a mea culpa. She's like, let me buy you this good pocketbook.
You gonna get this work? You gonna get this work?
Try to fix that. I done opened up my mouth and I got a whole lot of stuff, I was throwing stones, but I was in a very shattered glass house. So get you a pocketbook, girl.
let me show you what I can do, baby.
Exactly. My bad.
My bad. I forgot that I was in a glass house. My bad.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So yeah, no, she definitely stepped her foot in that one as well. Can't lie to you. I'm sure that's what Christina's probably thinking as she's looking at, like, chick, you the one that even was telling me. But hey ho, here we go. Let's then get to the dinner part as well, because that's where it gets tasty. Okay. Bada bing, bada.
It's like a bar, like a club.
But I understand why now, though. Back in the day, he was a wild boy. We talked about it in the club the other day.
Like, bro, shut up.
In the club.
Oh, I did not mean to do that. My bad.
Dang. Here we go again.
I definitely know producers told him, listen, say something, Anthony, say something. But anyway, Anthony be in everybody's business and still messing up and still saying things that he shouldn't be saying and talking. He just be bumping his gums too much. And ends up getting a fight with another girl. What's your thoughts, Sean, on Anthony and his antics in this last scene, man? It's crazy, man.
Yo, he just needs to stop bumping his gums. I don't even think producers got to tell him. That's why he's on the show, because you just put him in front of the cameras and he just gets to talking. It's like, bro, shh. And it's like you don't even be telling your own business. You be telling other people's business. You be blowing up other people's spots. Now, granted, here we go again. Brandon lied, didn't tell his wife, and now he's being aired out. But I just feel like Anthony just looks for any opportunity to talk and hold court and get to telling stuff. It's like, bro, just speak less. Speak less. It's okay. You don't have to fill the void with words all the time.
And that's the point, bro. He just needs to be more conscious and more aware, and how he comes off. He be thinking that he knows everything and that he's right all the time. But the reality of the situation is, he ain't no better than Brandon was doing, bro. You just be chatting and capping, bro. Like, you got, you cussed Russell a little bit for telling his wife, and then wife obviously snitching, but you out here dry snitching too, sir. And your wife is allowing you to just say whatever, because she's trying to make sure you're keeping your masculine role. But sir, you've got to realize, like, you being disrespectful ain't gonna help your case, ain't gonna help you guys in a relationship. And just because your wife is not saying anything right now doesn't mean she won't say something in the future. She's building up her case. Don't worry, she's building up her case. And I need him to just kind of sit back a little bit, be like, hey, look, you know what, I'm not gonna get involved in the women's business. I'm gonna let them handle their stuff. This is Jamie from what's the Love and Marriage DC. Yeah, he was always telling his wife, stay out of business. I need Anthony to take that advice. Listen, stay out of women's business. Stay out of the women's business. Okay, same thing to Brandon. Stay out of the women's business. Don't get involved with the women's business, please. Okay, all right, please. It's too much.
They'll take you down. Women are snipers. Women are the real snipers. So I think he just need to stay in his lane. You keep messing with Kobe, trying to throw mud on her name. She gonna get you, brother. You hiding out in that studio. These women, they'll always be like, I see. Did you see so-and-so? You saw him, right? They'll be like, for his whole thing will be blown up. Just mind your business. Leave the women alone. Stick to your side of the house and just be honest. Because see, that's my thing. I don't like lying. Because I don't like having to explain stuff later or having to have unnecessary conversations. So I'd rather deal with, if it's something difficult that I don't want to talk about, I'd rather just go through it. This is what I want to do, or this is what I'm thinking, and let's get it out. You start that lying, it's going to sneak up, or it's going to catch you. So, but back to Anthony. He needs to. Are you gonna show that scene where he starts going in on an old girl's friend?
Oh
Oof.
my God. It was wild to me, bro. Boy told her to stay in her lane. Don't get too peppered up, Pepe.
Little girl. It's a pipe down,
Little girl.
Little girl.
Little girl. You don't know me like that, little girl. Okay, you don't know me like that, little girl.
Ooh.
Okay. I said, ooh. Not a good look.
Love him. He's my brother. I don't know you. You need to stay in your lane. Like, you don't know who I am here. You don't know who I am. So it's like, you still like a little girl.
So low. Even the wife was stroking her neck because she realized this is not looking good, bro. Okay, it's not looking good.
You
Stay
saw
out of
the
women's business.
You saw the wine lady, the whatever she was, the waitress or something. She was like, "Ooh." That white lady was like, she was like, "I don't even I know you." Take it easy. Take it easy.
What is? Ooh, I guess the wine is kicking in.
He's like, "Ooh, you're cut off. No more wine for you, bro."
I was gonna make sure there's a deposit on this, okay, before this gets ghetto. Ooh. For y'all fight and break something, okay? Yo, deposits on the line, okay?
But the young lady handled herself very well, though. She really did, because I've never heard anybody talk that reckless to any woman, especially somebody that they just met for the first time. That is wild.
I was like, bro, how can you? Why is your energy for her so strong? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. Why is the energy so vibrant for her? You know. So for me, I was just like, yo, the way he be talking to her, I was like, bro, like you acting as if like this is a fight between you and her, bro. She merely just asked you a question as to why you in their business. The same way you was asking why Colby is doing what she doing, and they're asking you the same question, but you piping up and going off on one. You in the woman's business. You acting like that. Oh, the ladies are moving mad in the chat. I see them.
You know they're gonna light him up.
I'm not involved.
They are going to light him up. Yeah, well, listen, he's got to get all that smoke, because you don't just talk reckless like that. I mean, listen, there are double standards, and I also think there's just basic like human decency. You just met her. She didn't even say anything that reckless, but even if so, I can't imagine calling a woman a little girl. Bro.
Very sassy.
Yikes.
Little girl.
It's like, and the wife, I wish the wife would have like elbowed him.
Like, hey, this is my event. Stop that nonsense.
You know, like, babe, take it easy. I think she was trying to do like a little pat, 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 touch, touch. But
yes,
that
instance, trying to drop his leg on the table.
Yeah, that instance, she needed to like bang the table. Brother.
Boy.
Shut it
Bring
up.
it down, that boy. Yeah, no, she looked like she was a little bit under duress, man. Do you know what I mean? She looked like she didn't want to say nothing too tough. Like she didn't want to affect him. Do you know what I mean? Like she didn't want to cross him. But he was out of pocket. Can't lie to you. And this would have been the right time to cut across him, sis. He was doing way too much. And so for me personally, I wasn't feeling him, and I wasn't feeling what he was bringing to the table. That's a young lady. Leave her alone. It was a simple question from her, and you just had to answer it and move forward. But instead, you didn't want to do that. You wanted to create a scene. Yeah, we can't be out here with that. That ain't it.
Yeah, I think even one of the other guys could have been like, bro, just chill. I know Brandon was under fire, but that was Christina's friend, right? That came.
Yep.
He could have even said that, like, "Hey, bro, let's just let's bring the strength down in the room." To quote, our good brother David. Just bring the strength down. I think it's getting a little too hot and heavy. Let's just change the topic, because you don't know her, she doesn't know you. Maybe this is too much, but again, I gotta give her credit, because she handled herself very well. I think she was a little taken aback at first. She was like, "And what?" I wonder what the unedited version of that scene looked like.
She was like, "Oh, Nigga talking to me, like yo, like bro,
He
like
probably could have turned around and been like, you talking to her over there, right? Huh? This person? Oh,
you
no.
definitely ain't talking to me. Did this nigga just what? Like, I get it. You know, listen, I was like, yo, bro, you go and get yourself a whole bunch of fires for nothing. Now you got another person who doesn't like you. Like, bro, you just need to just relax, bro. You should let your wife handle it. That's what you should have done. If you felt like it was getting to a particular position, you should say, babe, let me let you handle it because I say a woman's business. You know what I'm saying? And if your wife would have just, I would said, hopefully your wife would have been wise and be like, hey, we're not going to discuss this here. This isn't an appropriate time. You know, we can discuss this a little bit later on. But to then go on and back and forth with this girl who's clearly younger than you two, is giving not the best impression, sir.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely too far.
Definitely 100%. Well, listen, that's the end of the review. Good, solid 45 minutes of good fun and banners and a little bit of jokes and laughs. We hope you've enjoyed this review. We'll be back here next week since, you know, Married at First Sight is now over. I haven't watched this latest episode, so don't expect me to review it, Married at First Sight, at least this last bit of the episode. But make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification uploads. We appreciate you. Stay locked, stay loaded, and if you're not watching the show, go and watch it. It is interesting to see these different dynamics as well. Okay, all right. We'll see you guys very, very soon. Much love, much appreciation.